Oh, hello. Judging by your attire, you must be the traveler from across the seas. Then I suppose FFXIV has enlisted you to our aid. That you were guided here safely must be the work of the brave Narwhal, who remains watchful even in this dire time. We are ever grateful for its vigilance. My name is Loznaqui, and I hail from the northern reaches of Tural, where even our breath freezes when caught in the chilling winds. Our people revere a Tural vidral of the Narwhal, whose essence rests in the cradle of the sleepless, our most sacred treasure. Through fathomless depths it swam without rest, protecting its home from any who would do it harm. Legends tell that the Narwhal could place the burden of its fatigue upon another, and thus was able to maintain its vigil night and day. So too can any who possess the cradle lull a person, willing or no, into a deep slumber, all while avoiding the need for sleep themselves. Needless to say, such power could cause untold harm in the wrong hands. Thus was the greatest warrior of our village, Tintoawa, tasked with crossing the ocean and returning that which is most sacred to us. I'd have joined him, but I feared I would only be a burden. So I remained here, that I might find someone to send to his aid. Tintoawa has ever rushed bravely and blindly into the thick of things, leaving me behind to watch and worry. But if there's anything I can do to help him, even a little, then I must. FFXIV has done well to send you to me. I can tell you are just the woman to temper his more reckless tendencies and keep him safe during his quest. As luck would have it, a letter from Tintoawa arrived shortly before you did. It seems he discovered that the thief made their way to a place called Ishgard. While I don't doubt his prowess, even Tintoawa would be rendered helpless before the Narwhal's lullaby. Please, could you follow him to Ishgard and find him before he does anything rash? Thank you, K'nekotein. I knew the Narwhal would guide a brave protector to our side. Tintoawa sails to an unfamiliar place, but despite his hasty nature, he'd doubtless spend time gathering information about his new surroundings before planning his next step. If Ishgard has a place like this one, where people gather to drink and talk, he might go there first. Ask for a swordsman with blue hair and attire like mine, and I'm sure it won't be long until you find him. Tintoawa has traveled to Ishgard, and he's likely gathering information in the city's taverns.
If it isn't K'nekotein, what'll it be? A lad from the western continent. Well, I can't be going around gossiping about the comings and goings of my customers, now can I? That's a quick way to an empty tavern. But I suppose, since you're you, I can make an exception just this once. A lad much like the one you described walked through my door not long ago. Was asking anyone whose ear he could bend about some stolen narwhal or some such he was after. Usually you buy someone a drink before interrogating them, but not him. Nobody knew what he was going on about, but he was determined. Asked where else in Ishgard people might gather to flap their lips. So, I told him to head to the jeweled Eorzea. If you leave now, I reckon he'll still be there. You'll know him when you see him, trust me.
I'll take 2 of everything. In gold and silver.
Bunch of useless. By the narwhal's horn, you'd think manners keep people warm for how desperately these people cling to them. And here I'm trying to rid their city of a thief.
Yes. It seems you know me, but I don't think I've ever seen you before. I'd remember. K'nekotein sent you. Even across oceans, she can sense when I'm in trouble. Well, I won't deny a helping hand, especially one with her blessing. I'm having no luck getting information from these people. Seems there are unwritten rules regarding favors that no one's bothered to tell me. I know the thief traveled here, but that's where the trail runs cold. I thought it'd only be a matter of time until they used the cradle to commit some misdeed or another, but it seems nothing is amiss within or without Ishgard's walls. I have only a description to go on, although it's availed me nothing so far. A woman of a race known in this land as Eorzea, she has striking red hair and eyes the color of rust. A scar dominates her forehead, and a mole rests upon her lips. She came to my village posing as a scholar with an interest in the cradle. Although she gave us a name, I know now it was a lie, just like everything else that spewed from her mouth. The bounty of meat, vegetables, and fruits she offered was worth its weight in gold to us. After the cold snap we suffered last year, we couldn't afford to turn her away. But looking back, I realize how brazen her deception was. Although she wore the robes of a scholar, she moved with the poise of a predator. I marked her as a fearsome warrior the moment I laid eyes upon her. Of course, she wouldn't have been able to travel so far north on her own if she was unseasoned, so I thought nothing of it at the time. It was my first misstep of many. That's all I know. It's not much, but if you see even the smallest scrap of a clue in there, it'd be a damn sight better than what I currently have. Penance. I haven't heard the word before, but I can guess its meaning. Either way, she didn't strike me as the remorseful type. Knights was it? I suppose that's what you call these deadly-looking fellows clad in steel. Yes, you may be onto something there. But where would we find one willing to speak? At their barracks, near the tavern. I know the way. I'll meet you there.
I'll take 2 of everything. In gold and silver.
This is it, right? Let's not waste any time, K'nekotein. Why, Mistress Khpein? What brings you to the congregation? This passage of the Unbound is not a name I have heard before. But if one of their number has brought an artifact of great power to Ishgard, we would be ill-advised to suffer their presence. We shall act on this information at once. If there is aught that would threaten the peace, then it is our duty to root it out. Consider the knights of the congregation at your disposal. Thank you for hearing us out, truly. Now, does anything about the description we shared ring a bell? An Elysian woman with red hair and eyes the color of rust. Wait. You said she bore a scar on her forehead, yes. And a mole. No, it could not be. You know who she is? Well, such information is usually privy only to those within our order. Pray understand my hesitation. What? Weren't you listening to anything we told you? She's too dangerous to be left alone. This isn't the time for secrecy. I know I'm a stranger in your city, but I can't stand by while innocent lives might be at risk. You are right, of course. If the hero who ended the Dragon Song War is not worthy of our trust, then who is? Very well. Master Tentower, pray accept my apologies. Although you may not be Ishgardian, your desire to keep its people safe is plain to see. We shall place our trust in you, as Mistress Khpein has. I'm glad we can see eye to eye. Now then, what do you know of this thief? Your description called back some old memories. Memories of a knight named Leofine. Merely recalling her story makes me ill at ease, for the mark she left upon our honorable order was black as pitch. None know of her whereabouts since she was expelled from the congregation. I had thought living with the shame of her deeds would be punishment enough, but if she now consorts with villains that threaten the very foundation of order, then 'tis clear we can suffer her freedom no longer. I shall inform my superiors of this development, and suggest that the congregation does all in its power to track down Leofine and place her in custody. If we learn aught of value, I promise to share it with you at once. Really? That's more than we could have asked. I suppose we ought to consider what to do in the meantime. Care to join me over there, K'nekotein? I shall inform my superiors at once. Worry not, we shall soon form a plan to bring that wicked Leofine to heel.
Even the mutton down in the brim will cost ye. Might be a toss o' the bones lying your linty purse.
So, we have a name. Leofine, a former knight of Ishgard. That means she knows how to hide herself in this city well. Grasping about at straws won't get us anywhere. My own unfamiliarity does little to help our chances. We may have no choice but to wait until the knights discover a lead. Nevertheless, I intend to spend every waking moment learning more about this city and its workings. As for you, I only ask that you be ready to move at a moment's notice. Until then, be well.